I want to show you what it actually looks like. So I'm going to call this video over. Come here. Come down. So today I'm going to edit one of my fishing videos using Final Cut Pro. We're going to jump right into it. The first thing we're going to do is start to organize the files. So I'm going to demonstrate 2 or 3 files that I do a quick preview, name them, and then put them into Final Cut Pro. So right now I have a video up here, and what I'm going to do is play a couple of seconds of the video to get an understanding of what the video is about. Then I'll go in and give it a name. So for this example, I think, this is video example 13. I think I missed a yellowtail snapper and I was out fishing with Al. So that's the kind of description that I put in. That way, when you're actually editing the video, you just know exactly what that clip is about. Okay, here we have a second video that I'm gonna edit the names. And basically, like I said before, it's just preference for me personally. It just helps me to organize the videos and get, find the exact footage I'm looking for. When you have a large, folder of videos, it's really difficult to find the exact one without putting this extra work up front in the beginning. So I'm gonna rename one last video, and then we're gonna jump right into the Final Cut Pro interface. All right, so here we're gonna jump right into the Final Cut Pro interface and start a new project. So now you can start adding your footage into that project by importing your footage that you already labeled with your numbering system. So you just go through the folder where I use a external SSD drive, and you basically, I keep a lot of these, I keep the files where they are just to save space on my system. So now we have all our files imported, and now we can start the actual editing and organization process. So now that we have all our files imported into Final Cut Pro, I like to do a quick review to make sure the footage looks the way I'm expecting it. So I'll just do a quick walkthrough of some of the files to make sure that they're what I expect them to be and where they should be. And now we're gonna just drop in our first clip into the timeline. So you just grab the clip and just drag and drop over into the project folder, into the project timeline, just like that. So now that I have the video on the timeline, the next step is to watch a little bit of it and trim it down to exactly what you're looking for. So right here, I start watching the video. You'll see me, I'll just do a quick trim just to make sure it is exactly what I want to show. And one of the things you can do is expand the video so you can trim really detailed trim, up to frame by frame trimming. So as you see here, I'm going to just pull it over to exactly where I want it and then go from there. So now I'm going to work on my intro. I use an app called TubeCut to do all the graphics, and then I import it into Final Cut Pro and add the music, background music. So this is how I put it together for my videos. So here I have the footage. I dropped the intro onto the timeline. It's about 10 seconds. And what I'll do, I'll let it play just to make sure it's what I'm expecting. It looks good. So now I'm gonna find the background music and drop that into the timeline. And because I know the song very well, I know I wanna trim it down just to the point where it gives a nice, big, heavy intro. So you hear the bass hit soon as you hit that intro. And I'm sure you guys see my videos, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about and when I do my intros. And at this point, I'm letting it play out, see what it feels like. Looks good. So now we're just gonna trim the song down to the exact length of the intro. So you just trim, cut that off, delete the rest of the song, and then you have a nice intro for the video. All right, so after I put that intro together, I want to show you what it actually looks like. So I'm going to call this video over. Come here. Come down. All right, that was pretty fun. Doing a little bit of animation, moving stuff across the screen. So that was pretty cool. So right now, what I'm gonna do is add a little bit more footage to the intro. So I have a video of us, the boats leaving the ramp, and I'm gonna add those into the beginning of the video, only a few seconds, and continue it with the music just for those few seconds. I think it added some real value to the video. So here you see I'm stripping off most of that content, and you know, I think it really added some value to the video. So now I'm going to add another piece of footage to the overall video. And what I'm going to do is add a nice transition. There's a couple of transitions. You see I'm moving back and forth, trying to find the right transition point. So you have tons of transition options. The one I was looking to use was basically almost like a circle coming in. So there's a couple of options. This is the one that's called the curve. And you'll see it. I really think this is pretty nice piece of animation. Transition for the video. And let me know what your thoughts are in the comment in regards to this type of a transition. So as you see, we got that transition in, and I'm only going to take a few more seconds of this video and then cut that off. You know, we don't need too much B-roll video. So here I'm just going to trim that off and continue on editing the video. So here I trim both the audio and trimmed off the additional video because we didn't need that content. So we're going to trim that out, delete it, and continue on editing the video. So here I'm going to continue the process of adding footage to the timeline. Here is the video of the first drop with some shrimp. So I'm just adjusting the timeline, trying to get a nice flow. I used a simple transition. This is the fade transition. So you see it's a quick fade, not a really overly long transition, but I think it gets the point across. So here I sped up the video just a little bit, just because just for time, the sake of time. We don't want, there's a lot of background video, a lot of background content that, you know, sometimes I want to put it in there, but I don't think it adds to the overall, you know, fishing value. People come here to watch fishing, not me just sitting there driving the boat around. So that's the reason you see me right now, just trying to find the perfect shots, you know, to get the exact point across. Yeah, so here you see I'm just basically getting the footage together of this particular fish that I caught. It's a porgy, and it's a lot of in between, a lot of extra content in between. So you just want to edit those out, and that's where you see me just cutting up the video, you know, chopping those things down. Most of the time, when video editing, it's about just you're a butcher and you're just chopping those videos up. All right, so now I have all the content on the timeline the way I want it. So now it's a matter of cleaning up those pauses. You know, when we speak, we don't normally realize how much we say and So right now I'm going through and cutting those out, cutting anything in the video that's just taking up extra space that does not tell the story. You know, the goal of making these videos is actually telling the story of the fishing trip that I'm on. So you want to go in and remove as many distractions as possible. You see right here these little dips in the conversation right there. You want to edit those out. You want to cut those out. So you remove the arms and, you know, those type of things. So you go right in between. You get your tool, cut, and delete that little piece of clip. And it takes a while. It does take a bit of effort and time to get it right, but it's worth it at the end. You'll see a lot less of you know, the distractions in the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue doing this cleanup. So we're at the final stage of the video editing process, and here I'm gonna go in and check the audio of some of the files. So you wanna make sure that it's no real loud or low when you're speaking. So what I do, I go in and check like for example, the music. It was a bit loud, so I lowered that volume down. Anywhere where you have the boat engine going, you want to adjust that volume because that gets pretty high and it becomes a droning sound in the background and not pleasing to the ear. So I normally turn down the volume on the boat engine just because it just takes away from the overall quality of the video. And then finally, I'm gonna show you just the last few edits before I save the file. And with Final Cut, basically they call it sharing, and they load up to your computer. Then you upload it to YouTube or wherever you want to post your video. You create the thumbnails. Me personally, I create the thumbnails in the beginning, and that way that helps guide me in my overall editing process. So I'm always, when I'm out fishing, I'm always thinking about how is this gonna play out in a video. So I think about the thumbnails when I'm on the boat. I'm thinking about a title. These are things I think about, you know, when I'm out on the water, in addition to my favorite thing, fishing. So right here, I'm just doing some final edits to the video. I'm adjusting the end screen. I'm adjusting an outro to the video. So basically I use the same thing from the intro. I use it as an outro. The same deal. You see I added a title to this, and here's the outro. And what I'm gonna do is just add some music to it like I did in the beginning. It's just basically the same music. Went and made a copy of it, and that's Control C. And I'm sorry for this MacBook, so this is Command C and then Command V. Drop it in right there, and you're good to go. Adjust the length of the music, and pretty much, you know, you're done at this point. So there's the outro. Do a quick trim, and pretty much this video is ready to go. I am gonna make a longer, more detailed video if I get some traction on this video. So it's, you know, if I get some good feedback on this video, I actually have a longer version where I go into details on, you know, creating titles, doing proper transitions, you know, loading the files, all the steps in creating a quality video. So if I get some good traction, I'm gonna post that video. But right now, because it's gonna be maybe an hour long, so it's a long video. So I don't wanna bore people if no one's interested in. All right, thank you for watching. And always be safe on the water.